The combination of operands and operators is what I will call it as an expression. Whenever I am using string, I should enclose it with the quotes. I should enclose it with the single quotes. If you want to specify any condition, you have to mention that in the where clause. With the help of the update command, I will be able to change or I will be able to update the details what I have in the table. Hello everyone, I welcome all of you to the yet another interesting session on SQL commands. So guys, yes, it's going to be very interesting today. So what is that we will be discussing? Let's check in the agenda. So guys, I will be discussing two important topics in this session. The first topic is going to be the SQL expression and the second one is all about the SQL commands. Yes, you all know the meaning of expression. So before I start discussing that, let me recollect the concept of expression to all of you. You all know the meaning of SQL and the acronym of SQL, right? So what is the meaning? What is the acronym? Structured Query Language. But can you please tell me what is the meaning of expression? So what we give on the face, that is what we call it as the expression. So is that? No. My dear students, the combination of operands and operators is what I will call it as an expression. Can I call this as an expression A plus B? Yes. Why? Because I have both. This is what I will call it as an operands. A variables is what I will call it as an operands. And the symbol what I have here is what I will treat it as an operator. So this is what I will call it as an expression. So fine. Now I have different types of expressions in SQL. So can you all tell me, can anybody guess how many different types of expressions that we have? Yes, your guess is right. We have three different type of expression. The first one that I have here is Boolean expression. What happens with this Boolean expression? My dear students, it will start fetching the data on the basis of matching the single value. So that is what you need to remember. So I repeat, so fetch the data on the basis of matching the single value. So that kind of expression is what I will call it as a Boolean expression. So Boolean in the sense 0 or 1. So that's what you need to remember. It will start fetching the data on the basis of matching the single value. That's what I will call it as a Boolean expression. So fine. The second expression is what I will be calling it as a numeric expression. What is the meaning of numeric expression? So numeric expression in the sense of mathematical operations or the arithmetic expressions is what I will be calling it as a numeric expression. So fine. The last expression that I have here is all about the date expression. Whenever you go for a date with your boyfriend or a girlfriend, the expression he or she gives, that is what I will call it as a date expression. Is that? No. Suppose if I want to fetch the current system date, what is the meaning of current system date, sir? Say for example, in my system right now, what is the time? So that is what I will call it as a current system date. If I want to fetch that, I will be using the date expression. This is the three different types of expressions that I have in this SQL. So fine, I understood, I got a fair idea about the SQL expression now. So now what is the next topic that I have? As I told you, that's going to be very important. So I have the implementation of SQL commands. What exactly this SQL commands is all about? How do I implement it? So that's what I'm discussing in this session. So this is going to be very important with respect to your exam point of view, especially in the third unit. All right, so fine. Why should I understand this? Why should I read this? All these sessions, all these concepts, what we have discussed till now, it's a theory part. You have understood what is table, what is data, what is record, all those things you have understood, but theoretically. But do you have any idea practically how do I store the data? Where do I store the data? How do I insert the data? How do I delete the data? How do I modify the data? No, we have not discussed that practically. So now I think it's time for us to discuss and understand how practically I will be able to implement the concept of SQL commands. So yes, keep your notepad next to you and start making note of the syntax of all the commands, whatever I'm going to discuss now. All right, so it's going to be very, very important. So the first one that I have here is create table. Sir, why should I create table? So you all know that. So imagine this is a beautiful table that I have. Okay, so let me just write serial number, name, age. Okay, what is the name of the table? The name of the table should be student. Let's imagine like that. Sir, why should I create this table? Because I will be storing my data in the table. That is what you need to remember. So before I store the data, so what should I do? I should create the table first. This is the first important thing that you should remember. What should I do? So where do I store the data? I store my data in the table. So first of all, before I store my data, I have to create the table. Now, again, I have a challenge. How do I create the table? So to create the table, I have the syntax here. So please observe and make a note of the syntax. Let me explain part by part of the syntax to create the table. So what is that I have? So you should use the keyword called create. You should use the keyword called create. Then followed by, you should type the keyword again, table. So what is that? You will write create table, then followed by. So guys, after typing the create keyword, you have to give a single space and then you have to type table. Then again, you have to give space. Then followed by, you have to write the name of the table. You have to write the name of the table. Sir, why should I give the name of the table? Say for example, here you are writing student is the name of the table. Then how will I understand that what is the name of the table? So you have to specify what is the name of the table. Whenever you are giving the name of the table, you have to follow the identifier rules. So what is that identifier rules? So please go back and check. No, I cannot start with number, no space in between, no keywords. So all those rules applies here also. It is better to use that identifier rules. Along with that, whenever you're choosing the name for the table, the name should speak what exactly that table is doing. So that is very, very important. Say for example, I'm creating a student table, but if I name parent as a table name, will it have any meaning? No. So that is very, very important that you need to take care. So fine, I understood the first three words. The followed by, very important that you have to start with open parenthesis, then followed by column name 1 space data type. Then after that, I will specify the comma. What is that, sir? We did not understood. Observe. So this is the first column name that I'm going to specify. Then after that, space data type. What is the meaning of this data type? What is the type of the data that you are going to store in this first column? Sir, what exactly the first column is all about? What is this data type? Listen to me carefully. So this is my first column in my table, correct? So what is the name of this column? Serial number is the name of the column. So here I will just write serial number, space, data type. So whatever you want, you just write int. All right. So integer type value I want to store in this column. That is what I'm specifying it here. In the same way, how many number of columns you want to have in the table, you just start using the comma and repeat the same step. Column number 2, data type. Column number 3, data type. So make sure after each and every column, so data type, you have to give comma. That is what you need to remember. At the end, so guys, you will end with the parenthesis and semicolon. So which I have given it here. So make sure, so you will end the statement like this. After n number of columns, you will end the statement with the parenthesis and semicolon. You should never forget the semicolon. That's the end of the query. This is the general syntax to create the table. Now, let's understand. Let's take an example and understand. Observe here. So what is that I have? I have create keyword followed by space I have, then I have table. So what is that I'm trying to create? I'm trying to create the table. What is the name of the table which I'm creating here? Very good. It's student. All right. So fine. After that, observe here. What is that I have? So guys, I have opened the parenthesis. Then what is the first column name? Can you tell me? Yes, it is yes ID. Yes ID in the sense student ID. So fine. So this is the name of the first column. Space char 4 is the data type which I want to store inside the first column. And this is the size that I have specified within the parenthesis. Then followed by, I have given primary key. I have given primary key. Sir, you did not say that here. Yes. I want to make this column, that is yes ID, as a primary key. That's the reason I have given it here before I enclose it with the colon. Is it colon? Is it colon? Observe here. It's comma after each and every pair of column. That is, column name and data type. So you have to have the comma. That is what you need to remember. Suppose if I want to make this column as a primary key, I should give a keyword primary space key. So that is what you need to remember. So fine. After that, I'm using the comma. The next column name. What is the next column name? Yes name. So here I've just given name and I'll make it as yes name. So I have mentioned the name of the column followed by the data type, and I've given one more constraint. So this constraint, primary key constraint, not null constraint, I will discuss it in the next class. But as of now, you just remember, I'm giving a keyword called not null. What is the meaning of not null, sir? Whenever I'm entering the data to this column, I should not leave the data empty. Suppose if I forget to enter the data to this yes name, so it will show me an error. I cannot skip. So that is what the constraint that I'm giving it here. Then after that, comma again. So next column name, F name and data type, comma again here. Again I have age. Next column name is what? Age. Again I have data type number, parenthesis 2, and here observe I have one more constraint. Check. Age is less than 20. What is that? Age is less than 20. What is the meaning of age is less than 20? Whenever I'm entering the data to this column, I have given one condition. So what is that condition? So the SQL should check my data should be less than 20. If I enter above 20, it will show me an error. Sir, you're saying primary key not null check. So can't I create without having this primary key not null and check age? Yes, you can create. There is no issues on that. I'll show you a simple query to create a table after this. Okay, you understood this check constraint. Then followed by I have class, the next column name. What is this? Char5 data type. So again you have not null. So this data also you should enter. You cannot skip. Okay. The last one you have address. The name of the column is address, followed by data type, and last one is close parenthesis semicolon. So this, if you type and press enter, you can create the table. But now, sir, you have given the different constraints. Can't I create my own table with a simple query without having this constraint? Yes. How do I create that? Observe here. So what is the keyword that I have to use? You have to use create, you have to use table, and you have to use table name. Let me just write S1. Okay. Then followed by open parenthesis, I'll just write yes name, or let me just write, serial number. Okay, then varchar or character, anything you can use. I'll just write 30, then comma. So this will create first column for me. So I will create one more column. So let me just write it as name. Okay, so varchar. All right, so varchar 30. So comma. So I will write age, varchar 30. So after that, I will close the parenthesis one more time and I'll give the semicolon. This will also help me to create the table without constraints. This is with constraint, that is without constraint. Both are correct. Okay. So this will help me to have my data in a validated format. So that's one of the important things that you should remember. So primary key, not null, and check constraint. All these things I will discuss in detail in the next class. All right. But as of now, you know how to create the table. So come on, repeat along with me. Create space table name, open parenthesis. What is the syntax here? Column name space data type. And for each and every column, you will have the comma. At the end, you will close the parenthesis semicolon. This is how I create my table. So fine, you understood how do we create the table. Here I have created the table, but I have done some mistake while I'm creating. So how do I change? So guys, for that, I have the alter command. So what is that? So imagine I have specified my data type for int as varchar or something else, but I need to change that, okay, into number. So how do I do that? So observe here, I have to use the keyword called alter. Then I have to use the keyword called table. What is that you're trying to alter? You're trying to alter the table. So that's why I have a keyword called table. Then followed by, I have given employee. Employee is the name of the table. Here, if I want to change it, so I will change it to student. What is my table name? Student. I will change it to student. Then I have to use the keyword modify. This is a keyword that I have to use to modify the structure of the table. That is what you need to remember. So fine. So what is that you want to modify there? So you want to modify age, right? So guys, I will write age. Okay, number 15, 2 is the data type I want to specify. So I will write it as it is. At the end of the statement, I will give semicolon. So that is the end of the statement. So this is how I will alter the table. So now, guys, imagine one more thing. I have given, while I'm creating, I have only 3 columns. But I forgot to add one more column. How do I add that? So I will be using the same alter table. Observe here, alter table. Table name is student. Add. Okay. After this, whatever the column that you want to add, you can just specify. I need to add address. What I will write? I will write address. This is the name of the column and this is the data type. Okay. If you just write varchar 30 and then semicolon. This will help me to add one more column to the table student. This is what you will be thinking or you will be understanding about the alter command. All right. Moving forward to the next one that we have, drop. Guys, this is one of the important thing that you should remember. Where exactly we will be having a table? So I will have my table in the database, right? So you all agree with that. Database is a collection of related tables. So fine, you all know that. So what is the meaning of this drop? So drop in the sense, imagine I have, this is a database, okay? This is my table, okay? Like this, I will have multiple tables in my database. If I use the command called drop, so entire thing, whatever I have with respect to this table, completely it will erase. Even the structure of the table will be erased. The details with respect to that particular table will be erased completely. I will not be having any clue with respect to that particular table. So that is what you need to remember. So fine, what is the syntax for that? You just have to use the keyword called drop, table and table name. Suppose if I want to remove the student table, how do I write the command for that, query for that? Drop table student. That is what you need to remember. Drop table student semicolon. So completely it will remove the table from the database. So fine. Please remember, I will talk about this one more time. All right. Moving forward to the next one that we have is insert. Sir, you have created the table. You showed us how to create the table using create query. So I have created it. So the table is empty now. How do I insert the data to that table? So please observe, with the help of insert command, I will be inserting the values to the table. So what is the syntax that I should remember with respect to the insert command? Listen to me carefully. Before I discuss this, let me show you one more simple query. First thing that you have to remember is insert keyword. So what is the next thing? Insert into. What is the next keyword that you should remember? Insert into table name. Imagine the table name is student. Insert into table name. Then I will give the next keyword, that is values. What are the 4 keywords that you'll remember? Insert, space, into, space, table name. I'm not using the keyword table here. Most of you will make a mistake by typing the keyword, since you guys are used to use the keyword in create table. All right. So here we are not using the table keyword. I'm just using the name of the table. That is what you need to remember. All right. So fine. Insert into table, space, values. Imagine here, how many columns I have here? How many columns? Check. 1, 2, 3. How many columns? 3 columns I have. So I have to insert the 3 values here. How many values? 3 values. The first one is serial number. Let me just write 10. Second one is name. Let me just write ABC. Third one is age. I'll write 18. Okay. After that, semicolon. If I press enter, one row updated will be your output. Sir, you need to observe and understand here. For this string, whenever I am using string, I should enclose it with the quotes. I should enclose it with the single quotes. Whenever I'm using the integer or float or any number, I'm not using any quotes. That is most important thing that you need to observe here. All right. So guys, Observe here, after each and every value, I'm separating that values with a comma. You will make a mistake in this particular statement. So you have to take a little care in this. So fine. Now, after understanding this, you will get a doubt. Sir, in the table, I have 3 columns. I understood because recently I have created. But sometimes I will not be knowing the order of the columns. In that case, what should I do? Or I will have only 3 values. I will not have the complete values for all the columns. In that case, what should I do? So you will have this question. So for that, observe the syntax that I have here. What is that I have? Insert, you have same command. Into, you have same thing. Table name. Then after that, so you will open the parenthesis. You will mention the column names. You will mention what? Column names. So guys, you will mention the column names in which order you are mentioning. So after that, so you don't have semicolon here. Okay, it's a typing mistake. Then after that, you will have values. Again, you will open the parenthesis. First, what you have mentioned, SID. For that, you have to mention the value. Second, what you have to enter the value for that. Third, you have what you have. So for that, you have to enter the value. So in which order you have specified the column name. So in the same order, you have to enter the values. So that is what you need to follow when you don't know the different columns or the order of the columns in the table what you have created. Otherwise, you can also just use this format. And remember, whenever you are entering the integer values, so you don't have to enclose it with the quotes. Whenever you're using the string, you should enclose it with the quotes. You can also use double quotes or you can also use single quotes. Both exchange the same meaning. Okay, that is what you need to remember with respect to the insert. So fine, what is that you learned? You learned how to create, you learned how to alter, you learned how to drop, you learned how to insert the record. So fine, moving forward to the next one, that is select. You know how to create, you know how to insert. Why should I do all this circus? I need to retrieve the data, right? Whatever I'm storing, whenever I want it. Then how do I retrieve? So I will retrieve with the help of the command called select. What is select? So select in the sense I have the table. I will select what I want and I will see what is the data. Okay, that is what I will call it as select. So fine, you guys will get the result. Okay, so you will enter your register number and you will press enter. Okay, so the result will come to all of you. All right, it will come, right? So all of you will see your result. So you are selecting your result. That data will come to you as an output. So same here. What is that you want? You will select with the help of the select query. So what is the syntax for that? It's very simple. So guys, first you will write the keyword select. Okay, and you will specify the columns that you want from the table. Imagine I have the table like this. Okay, so I have 3 columns: serial number, name, and age. Okay, 3 columns I have in the student table. What is the name of the table? Student table. I want to select only serial number and name. So how do I write the query? First, I have to write the keyword select. So how many columns you want? I want 2. So what is the first column that you want? I want serial number. What is the next column? So next I have to enter comma, then followed by I need name. Okay, so fine. So you have selected which column you want. From where? From the next clause. You have to mention from where? From student. You have to mention the name of the table. Then after that, semicolon. This is how you will select the columns from the table. So fine. I understood, sir. But I don't want all the data. I want specific data. How do I retrieve? Suppose if I write the query like this, the entire column will come. Serial number, entire, how much I have entered, everything will come. Name, how much I have entered, everything will come. I don't want everything. I want some particular student. How do I retrieve? So for that, I have a solution with respect to the where clause. How do I write that? How do I use this where clause? So observe here, I have the select clause and from clause. Whenever I'm speaking about select query, I will have 3 clauses. In the select clause, I will mention the columns that I want. In the from clause, I should mention from where exactly I need this column. That is, it should be table name. And in the where clause, I will mention the condition. If you want to specify any condition, you have to mention that in the where clause. So fine, let me show you that. Say for example, you have the first clause select. So you all know that. So you will select the serial number, comma, name. These two columns you want to select. From, what is the next clause? From, okay, from student. So this is the table name. So I was giving the semicolon here, but this is not my end of the query. So I will not give it here. So what I will do is next where clause. Where, observe here, serial number is equal to 1, 2, 3, semicolon. Whose serial number is 1, 2, 3? So you retrieve the serial number of that particular student and the name. That is what I will be doing. This is how I will be filtering the data of what I want in the where clause. Guys, we have discussed relational operator, we have discussed logical operator, so all those, and we have discussed arithmetic operator. All those operators, we can use it here. So that is what you need to think. You need to use your brains. All right. So fine. Moving forward to the next one that we have, AND operator. So AND operator is one of the logical operator, right? Where do I use this AND? So guys, observe here. I have the condition. What is the condition you have? Where a serial number is equal to 123. I don't want only this condition. I want to check one more condition. Imagine I have one more column here, city. Okay, imagine I have one more column, that is city. Okay, so now my condition, let me just write the condition here. I will write AND. Okay, city is equal to Mysore. Okay, then I will give semicolon. I will close the quotes, last semicolon. Now I will read the statement for you. Select serial number and name from student where serial number is 123 and city of that student should be Mysore. If both the conditions are true, only retrieve that details, serial number and name. Otherwise, don't retrieve. Both the conditions should match, serial number as well as city, when I'm giving AND. That is what you need to remember. Suppose if I don't use AND, I will replace this AND with OR. If any one of the condition is true, you retrieve that. That is what you need to understand. How do I use and how do I use OR? That's what I will be discussing with this AND and OR. This is what you need to understand with respect to AND and OR. Moving forward to the next one. I have inserted the data, but I have done a mistake. Instead of inserting the name as Ravi, I have entered it as Raju. I need to change it. How do I change it? I have the option called update. With the help of the update command, I will be able to change, or I will be able to update the details what I have in the table. How do I do that? So observe here, I have the keyword called update. Followed by, I'm not using the table keyword. I'm just using the keyword EMP. What is this EMP? EMP is the name of the table. All right. Then after that, I have the keyword. This set is a keyword. So update EMP set sal in the sense the column name. All right. So whatever the value that you want to update, so you will specify, and you can also use the where clause. And this where clause is optional. Let me compare this with my previous example for student. All right, so observe here. What is the table that we have here? Serial number, name, age, and city, right? So let me show you for this. Let me write the update query for this. So I will write update. Okay, so what should be the table name? So table name should be student. Okay, so fine. I need to update the age. So fine. Set age is equal to 18. Whose age should be 18? Whose age should be 18? I have to specify here, right? So I will specify that in the where clause, where serial number is equal to 123. Okay, semicolon. So whose serial number is 123? Update his or her age as 18. So like this, whatever the column that you want to update, so you can update. So for example, I need to update the name. So what should I do? I will just write here instead of age, I will just write name. So instead of 18, I will just write Ravi within quotes. Remember why quotes? Because it is string. So this is how I will be updating using update command. All right. So hope you understood how are we trying to update. Moving forward to the next one, delete. I told you when I'm discussing the drop, so remember the drop, I will discuss about this in the coming slides. What is the difference between delete and drop? My dear students, drop in the sense the complete structure of the table will be deleted. It will be removed from the database. But when I use delete, the structure of the table will be there, only the data will be deleted. For example, if I have a building, I will remove all the items what I have from the building, but the building will be there. If I perform drop, the entire thing will be removed, only the place will be there. That's the difference between drop and delete. So fine, what is the syntax for delete? So observe here, what is the question that we have given? Delete all the records from employee whose salary is less than 3,000. I want to delete the records of employee whose salary is less than 3,000. How do I do it? So guys, delete from. I have to use a keyword delete from. Where should I delete? I should delete from the table EMP, where salary is less than 3,000. That's it. So what is the keyword that you're using? Delete from. You have to mention the table name, and you can also specify the where clause. Suppose if you want to delete a particular record, you will be doing like this. If you want to delete all the records, you will be just doing like this. Delete from table name. That's it. At the end, semicolon. So it will delete the entire details that you have in the table. So this is how I'll be deleting the entire details that I have in the table. This is how the delete is working for me. The next one is order by. I want to sort my data. Okay, I want to arrange the data in ascending order or in the descending order. How do I do it? So for that reason, I have something called order by. I have something called order by. How do I do that? So guys, first of all, you have to select the data. You have to retrieve the data. You have only one solution to retrieve the data, that is select query. Apart from that, you don't have any other query. Don't get confused. So first of all, I have to select. So guys, select star. Very beautiful, very important. What is the meaning of star? So in the previous query I showed you, select, you'll be writing column name. So you will specify which column you want. But if I specify star, it will select the complete table. All the columns it will select. So fine. Select star from employee table. Whatever you have in the employee table, you will select everything. So fine. Observe here the condition where job is equal to manager. Where job is equal to manager. So the job, whose job is manager, you select the details of that manager completely, all the columns. So fine. Order by E code. Order by is one of the keyword that you should remember to sort. So order space by. E code is a column name. E code is a column name. This is the employee code. So fine. If you don't specify anything here, so by default it will be in the ascending order. Okay. You can also specify ASC. ASC. Okay. You can also specify ASC after writing order by E code. So you will just give one space and ASC and then semicolon if you give ascending. This will also work. If you don't specify also, if you just specify order by E code, by default it will be in ascending order. Sir, I don't want it in ascending order. I want it in descending order. You will just give DESC. DESC. Instead of ASC, after this E code, if you just specify DESC, it will start arranging the order in the descending order. This is how you will select or you will sort the data in ascending or in the descending. With this, I have come to an end of this session. So in the next session, I will be discussing the next important commands that we have in SQL. Along with that, I will also discuss the different constraints that we have. So till then, take care. Bye-bye. Happy learning.